Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Up back into the video today, and today the Atlanta Hawks were eliminated, and we're going to be going over what the Atlanta Hawks offseason should look like after being eliminated. They were eliminated yesterday by the Chicago Bulls. Now it's today, and we're going to go over what I think the Atlanta Hawks should do this offseason. Let's get into it. So, let's start off with who are they going to trade? Who is leaving Atlanta? Is it DeJounte Murray or is it Trae Young? Okay, here's what I have to say. If I were the Atlanta Hawks, I would get rid of Trae Young instead of DeJounte Murray, and here's why. I really like the way that DeJounte Murray finished off the season. I thought with this team, he looked really good on this team, and I just really think that it would be a good fit. If you traded Trae Young, you got some nice assets back. I think that's one of the reasons why I think they should trade Trae Young instead of DeJounte Murray. I think they can get a lot more back for Trae Young than they could for DeJounte Murray. And I'm going to talk about what I think they should do this offseason. There's really only a couple things I have on this list, and it's a trade and a player to draft. So let's get into it. So starting off with trade, I think the Atlanta Hawks should trade Trae Young to the San Antonio Spurs, and here's why. I believe it'd be best for them to trade him to the San Antonio Spurs. They can get some nice player assets, some nice young players, but also they can get their draft picks back, and if they want to be terrible next year, they can be terrible next year because San Antonio has their first-round picks from... It's like 2025 and like 2027, 2026 that San Antonio has Atlanta's picks from the DeJounte Murray trade, which sent DeJounte Murray to the Hawks. So the Spurs want to get Wemby a second star. Trae Young is a good fit next to Victor Wembanyama. So here's the trade I think the Atlanta Hawks should do. Send Trae Young and AJ Griffin to the San Antonio Spurs, and in return, get your first-round picks back, so 2025, and whether the other pick is, I think the other pick's like 2026 or 2027. So get your two first-round picks back, Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones, and Devontae Graham. I like the package. Keldon Johnson's a really nice player. A couple of these players are former teammates of DeJounte Murray. Trey Jones and Keldon Johnson both played with DeJounte Murray in San Antonio. But like I said, Trey Jones and Keldon Johnson are both really nice young players who had solid seasons with the San Antonio Spurs. Devontae Graham is a nice bench piece who's a good three-point shooter, and you get two first-round picks and also, more importantly, your first-round picks back. Now they do have a draft pick in this year's draft. Right now, I think it's projected to be like 10th or 8th in this year's draft. We'll see where that draft pick ends up. I believe it's supposed to be 8, but that's just, it has the 8th best odds in the NBA lottery. We'll see what happens in a couple weeks when the NBA draft lottery happens. But I got to say, I think the guy that Atlanta should look to draft in the draft is small forward Dalton Knecht from Tennessee. I think he's a great three-point shooter that would mix well to this Atlanta Hawks team. Not only that, I think he's one of the most NBA ready guys out of all some of these guys in this year's NBA draft. He's one of the oldest guys, almost 23 years old. He has a really nice jump shot, really good three-point shooter, and he's a good scorer. I think he could be a really good fit for the Atlanta Hawks. And if after all that, some of their free agents, Sadiq Bey, I think you bring him back. He won't be back until like December or January due to his injury, maybe later than that. So he won't be back for a while. But here's what your rotation will look like. You have your starting lineup: DeJounte Murray, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, and Clint Capella. And then your bench. This is a really nice bench. Backup point guard Trey Jones, backup shooting guard Garrison Matthews. I really like the way he finished the season with his three-point shooting. And then backup small forward Keldon Johnson, backup power forward, stretch him to the power forward position, Dalton Knecht, your draft pick. Backup center Onyeka Okongwu, and then your two bench guys are Bruno. Your two other guys that are not going to be playing, Bruno Fernando and Sadiq Bey because he's injured, and then also Devontae Graham would be on the team. That kind of wraps up this roster and what I think that's what I would do if I were the Atlanta Hawks. Get rid of Trae Young, get a nice package like Trey Jones and Keldon Johnson. Nice player package, but most importantly, you're getting those first round picks back, and then just build. I would build this team around DeJounte Murray. You have good shooters on the team next to DeJounte Murray with guys like Bogdanovich, okay shooters like Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, really good 3-point shooters like Garrison Matthews and Dalton Kennett. So it's not a terrible 3-point shooting team, but they're not a great 3-point shooting team, but they're not a terrible 3-point shooting team. They definitely have good shooters like DeJounte Murray, Bogdanovich, Garrison Matthews, Kennett. So yeah, I think this wouldn't be a bad team right here. Now I think Atlanta would probably be if healthy though, because you have guys like Onyeka Okongwu and also Jalen Johnson who didn't stay healthy the full season. I think if this team stays healthy, they're a little bit better than they were this season. This season they won 36 games. I could see the Atlanta Hawks pulling off 40 wins with this team right here. Because I think there's talent around the whole board. I mean, there's talent across the whole team. It's not just one guy. I mean, you got a nice bench with nice scoring off the bench and guys like Keldon Johnson and Dalton Kennett and good shooting, Garrison Matthews, good defense by Garrison, good defender and Garrison Matthews as well. I think this team would have a nice potential. I think seeding-wise in the East, they'd probably still be in the same spot. This year they were the 10 seed. I could see them maybe being the 9 or 8 seed with this team. It's no disrespect to Trae Young because he's a great player, but at the same time, I think this is improving the team all around compared to, than just one player. And Trae Young had his fair share of injuries throughout the season. He did miss some time throughout the regular season, and there were other guys that missed time in the regular season who would be back for this Atlanta Hawks team, like Onyeka Okongwu and Jalen Johnson. So, and guys, younger guys on this team like Jalen Johnson are going to grow. So, Trey Jones, if they traded for him. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts on what I think the Atlanta Hawks offseason should look like. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out.